Bernie Sanders had strong words for Facebook after new reporting showing that the company has for a very long time used, on the one hand, your private data to get app developers to give them preferential deals to make money, while at the same time trying to convince you that they have a lot of respect for your private information. And the senator said, Facebook has incredible power over the economy and our political life. It harvests the data of 228 million Americans and over uses this sensitive information in dangerous ways. What we need is vigorous antitrust action and to break Facebook up. Now, I'm gonna give you the details on the reporting in case you haven't seen it, but note that he's not just criticizing them and he's not just calling for investigations. He's saying they need to be broken up, which is about as far as any politician in America has gone. Warren had attacked Facebook a little bit and received a ton of strike back from Zuckerberg, who apparently was allying with Buttigieg to oppose her. And so we'll have to see how he responds to Bernie Sanders. But let me tell you about this actual reporting. So Facebook apparently gave Amazon special access to user data because it was spending money on Facebook advertising. In another case, the messaging app MessageMe was cut off from access to data because it had grown too popular and could compete with Facebook. And I can't say for sure, but I'm imagining that the threshold for becoming too popular is pretty low because I've never heard of that app in my entire life, but apparently it was too big and it was becoming a threat to Mark Zuckerberg. But also notice there, when they said they gave them special access to user data because they were spending money on advertising, you are probably thinking as we talk about this story, wait, aren't they also in the news for allowing Donald Trump and other politicians to lie in their ads? Yes, and I am worried about the precedent they've set with these companies where if you spend enough money in ads, we will not only allow you to lie, but potentially give you access to private user data while lying to our user base about whether you can see that information or not. So we know about this because of a lawsuit. They got this trove of documents, thousands and thousands of documents, 7,000 pages in total, internal communications, emails, web chats, all of that. And in it, we found out that some employees at Facebook were bringing up their concerns about this. Doug Purdy, who was the director of product for Facebook at the time, described Zuckerberg as a master of leverage. Others said that it was basically Facebook had become a cast of Game of Thrones villains. One employee said that the competitive bucketing that Facebook was attempting to achieve with its platform is, quote, more than complicated, it's sort of unethical. With another agreeing, that feels unethical somehow. It just makes me feel like a bad person. Thank you for noting that. Do something about it while you can, because it's not just sort of unethical, it's wildly unethical and probably should be illegal if it isn't already. But what's even worse than that is while they're doing all of these deals with different apps and using your information as a bargaining chip with them, specifically to make money, they're also lying to you about it. So Facebook was planning to publicly frame those exact deals as a way to protect user privacy. I don't know how they were going to do that, but apparently he's a master manipulator, so maybe he was going to come up with something. That's the bad news. All this reporting is the bad news. The good news is that in addition to national politicians like Bernie Sanders, who are calling for more accountability and potentially splitting up Facebook, state level efforts against the company have been proceeding as well. Facebook has apparently been under investigation by California officials over its privacy practices for more than a year, with State Attorney General Xavier Becerra saying on Wednesday they may be forced to turn over key documents. Becerra said the Attorney General's office had been investigating since spring of last year whether Facebook violated California law by deceiving users and misrepresenting its privacy practices, and that the company has continued to drag its feet and refused to comply with the requests. In October, New York Attorney General Letitia James announced that 47 attorneys general from states and US territories plan to take part in a New York-led antitrust probe into Facebook. So their strategy at this point is to deceive you about what they're doing behind the scenes, and when it comes to official investigations, to drag their feet, not cooperate, not provide documents, and all of that. They can do that to a point, especially considering how much money they have, their donations to politicians, all of that. But once you get effectively all of these states' attorneys general across the entirety of our country, it should become a little bit harder to do that. And if we have the right politician leading our country and making sure that we keep the pressure on Facebook to do what it has always promised us it would do in regard to our private information, maybe some of those state level investigations can get to the bottom of what Facebook has been doing and we can have some actual substantive reforms. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.